All right, hello again, and we're going to be talking about preparing materials for the mass media. This will be part one of two. Of course, these discussions come from the textbook Public Relations Strategies and Tactics by Wilcox and Cameron, the 10th edition. First thing we're going to talk about is the news release. The examples given in the textbook of the Rosetta Stone of ancient Egypt. You may have heard of it. It helped to decipher the hieroglyphs, kind of unlocked the key to the hieroglyphs in the pyramids, and we learned a lot about ancient Egypt from the Rosetta Stone. It was basically a publicity release touting the pharaoh's accomplishments. So in a way, it kind of served the purpose of a news release. The modern news release or press release was the invention of Ivy Lee for the Pennsylvania Railroad in 1906. There was an accident, and Ivy Lee created the first news release, and you probably remember that. We talked about Ivy Lee a good bit at the beginning of the class. The news release is the most commonly used public relations tactic. Now, some say the news release is passé, that it's out of date, but 92% of business journalists say they use news releases for story ideas. The media rely on news releases for two reasons. One, reporters and editors spend most of their time processing information rather than gathering information. And then also, no media organization has enough staff to cover every event. So news releases are convenient. They are helpful and useful to the media, and they are glad to get them, although a lot of them may not be used. A news release is not paid advertising. News organizations have no obligation to use it, and many are not used. News releases are judged on their newsworthiness, their timeliness, their interest to the audience. They are judged by the news media on these things: newsworthiness, timeliness, interest to the audience. So let's have a look at video here on writing news releases.
An extremely viable way to get exposure for your business is to get news coverage from the media. I'm going to show you how to create a great press release that gets noticed. A grand opening, a new product, a record-setting sales year, a new location, or a special event are all good reasons to contact the media and send them a press release. It's important for any business owner to know how to write one that not only gets noticed, but actually turns into news coverage. Here are the things you need to know in order to write a killer press release. Now, to ensure readability, your press release should follow this standard format. It should be typed, double-spaced, and on white letterhead, with the contact person's name, title, company, address, and phone number in the upper right-hand corner. The words "for immediate release" should go at the top of the page on the left margin in capital letters. The headline, usually in bold, should be centered below that. A subtitle can be included in italics that briefly elaborates on the headline. Your headline should be brief, clear, and a condensed version of the press release's key points.
All right, we'll stop, Valerie, there. I think those are all great suggestions, and you certainly can watch the rest of that video, and I hope that you will. Planning a news release, there are some questions to answer. What is the key message? And Valerie sort of addressed that, and I'm sure she'll go on and have more to say about it. But the key message should be able to be expressed in one sentence. And those of you who have had some basic journalism writing courses know that the lead of the story basically summarizes the information contained in the story. So that key message likely is going to appear both in the lead and in the headline. Who is the primary audience? Everything in media is directed at an audience. And who are we trying to communicate with? What are the benefits and rewards for the target audience? Most of us, if not all of us, look at an advertisement or a story in the newspaper that may be promoting something new, or a story on television or on social media. And we will ask the question, what's in it for me? How does this benefit me? So we need to speak to the benefits for the audience. What objective does the release serve? What are we trying to accomplish? Is the news release the best format for this information? Might there be some other way of communicating other than a news release? The basic online news release, the majority of news releases today are distributed via email or electronic news services, and also downloaded from a website. That is very common. Go back to the time when we received news releases actually in the mail. The mailman would bring them in an envelope, and I'm sure some are still sent that way, but most are distributed electronically today. The next course, which is a writing course, will go into the specifics on writing news releases. The multimedia news release is also called the Smart Media Release, or the SMR, and is very common today. Here's a video.
We all use multiple outlets to share information and interact with the world. So PR and marketing professionals need tools to distribute news and branded content across multiple channels. This is why PR Newswire offers customized, multi-channel releases to distribute your information everywhere. We combine owned, earned, and paid communication strategies to reach your goals and increase the views and engagement of your content. Each multi-channel release starts with a custom-designed 100% branded and optimized landing page. Supported by a team of project managers and creative designers, the MNR is crafted to uniquely showcase your content in 24 hours or less. Once your custom multi-channel release is ready to launch, we take all the pieces and distribute it across over 10,000 recipients in our media distribution and journalist network and the top video network portals. Display it in Times Square and tweet it from PR Newswire's industry-specific handles. You can further share your branded message with the option to include an HTML email to your contacts as well.
So we'll stop this at that point, but that's a good explanation of how multimedia news releases are created and how they work. That was created by the PR Newswire organization. We're going to be talking more about them. A standard SMR, or Smart Media Release, contains embedded photos, graphics, video, and or audio. Search engine optimization allows carefully selected keywords to be identified, making it easy for media to find the release. And we've all done searches, online searches, and so if you're looking for a story on a particular thing or information on a particular subject, this may be the way to get your news release to the right person. The most important thing, in fact, to PR organizations is their news release turning up on search engines. So the keywords that you include are very, very important. Now, consumers may bypass the gatekeepers, in other words, the journalist, and go straight to, and that needs to be rewritten, but consumers may bypass the news organizations and receive the news release themselves, which is great. So now we're putting the information directly into the hands of the consumer, the potential person who would be the customer. So that is another aspect of the keywords and the searches. Some do's and don'ts. Do include links to pages reinforcing the keywords and phrases. So that, again, will help us to emphasize the things we want to emphasize. Do place key terms in the headlines and the lead, or the first paragraph. So again, the headline and the lead are going to be the most important thing, and your key terms, your key words should show up there. Do distribute through a service that carries hyperlinks to downstream sites such as Yahoo Finance. And again, we were talking about the PR Newswire organization. Very often when I'm searching for a particular bit of information, PR Newswire will pop up, and they will have a story that's out there on the web, and that's the story that that shows up at the top of the search. Don't go link crazy. Too many links will be confusing and distracting, and lead your audience, lead your reader away from your main message. Don't use low resolution images. High resolution images can easily be used by the media, and that is what we want. Don't use all the tools all the time. Focus on the message, and the bells and whistles are used to complement the message. So don't use some of the tricks that you have just for the sake of using them. Publicity photos. Studies show that more people read photos than read articles. So 3 to 4 times as many notice a photo than read a news story. So that just speaks to how important the photos are. And we were talking about using high-resolution images. In fact, the photos certainly must be of high quality. And what we mean by that, 300 dots per inch, or 300 dpi. Media kits are news releases and photos and more combined in a package. The traditional media kit is a 9x12 manila folder with inside pockets, doesn't have to be manila folder, with inside pockets containing a news release, a news feature, a fact sheet, photos, bios, a brochure perhaps, contact information, all of those in this very nice folder. And in your textbook, there's a good example of a media kit for Crayola's 100th anniversary. Let's have a look here at a video on media kits.
In today's video, we're going to check out the world of media kits and 6 important features to include when creating your own. A media kit is a collection of information about your brand. It includes key details such as an about section, contact channels, statistics on your brand, and more to give visitors a well-rounded idea of your mission, what you have to offer, and why users should care about your products or services. Traditionally, media kits are used by journalists and other content creators to write articles about your brand without having to contact you directly. However, they're also helpful for initiating partnerships with influencers and other brands looking to advertise their products or services. Media kit formatting varies widely. Some put their information in bullet-pointed lists, while others craft beautifully designed graphics and elaborate with multi-page documents.
Okay, we'll stop that there. I hope you'll watch the rest of that. There's a lot of good information in that video. E-kits, we were talking about traditional media kits a moment ago. E-kits are distributed by email, a website, certainly, a CD or a flash drive, and there is, again, a good example of an electronic media kit in your textbook having to do with a promotional campaign by Chicago's Shed Aquarium. So that's the end of part 1 on creating materials for distribution in public relations, and we'll continue with part 2 next time. Thanks.